What's up again, guys? Yeah, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Dovahkiin, and welcome back to Let's Play Divinity Original Sin 2. And before we begin, be sure to hit on the subscribe button for more great videos. Alright, that is a respec mirror, which should only be available in Act 2. Spoiler, when you get your own ship. I have it because of a mod, and the link is in the description. By the way, in previous vids I kept on saying that my builds are all dynamic. This is why. Once you gain access to this one in Act 2, which comprises like 70% of the whole game, you can respec for free whenever you wish, and not only your toon, but the entire Origin cast as well. So, don't be afraid to spend points when leveling up. Gimping your toons is virtually impossible. Well, having inferior gear is one way, but that's a different story. Anyway, just be aware, after respec, the mirror changes your portrait.
Prepare yourself.
Better luck next time.
Prepare yourself.
You're not trying to escape, are you?
In the first episode of this series, Character Creation, I've chosen Warrior as my voice, but I just found out that all along it was on Trickster. It's fine, I'm gonna keep it. I like how he sounds anyway. And besides your stats here, you can redo your cosmetics. Alright, on attributes. If you've been following my build videos, I need not explain ratio and via gear. Likewise with those builds, I'm gonna get witty gear as well. But if that ain't enough, I will reassess my need for con and memory and pry wit instead. Wits is crit rate / chance, and this build is all about damage, so it makes perfect sense. By the way, I would do the same for red and feint, and the candidate for flexibility in their case is memory. Perhaps they won't need a lot of spells anyway. Again, for Sibyl, backstab, auto-crits, no need for wits. That was dumb. Anyway, why SDR? Just a few points actually, because he's gonna be carrying a lot of those crafting essentials. Now we move on to the highlights of this build. Combat abilities. Besides getting those 4 elements at least on 5 via gear bonuses, Huntsman is another way of augmenting damage, though conditionally you have to be on high ground. As for Necromancer, this is a viable way to deal non-elemental damage, and it scales with int, so a few points will do. Since the first episode to Red and Sibyl's builds, I kept on mentioning Polymorph and Apotheosis, so I'm gonna detail them here. Each ability point invested in Polymorph gives you a bonus attribute point. Thus, this is one of the fastest ways to boost damage via int. Then there's Apotheosis, and here's what it does. SP based or source skills are among the strongest in the game. For 2 turns, you can fire them all at will, but of course as long as you have enough AP. And being a master of many schools means I have a platter of source skills at my disposal, unlike Red and Sibyl, whose masteries are limited to 1 or 2 schools. But what the hell, it doesn't matter if it's gonna be useful for them or not, they're just gonna have this one. As for leadership, he's the main toon, so naturally he's the head of the party, but that's just my fancy, you know? Anyway, I'm sure you've noticed that on all my builds, especially on this one, I am confident in relying on gear bonuses. In a way, I truly am, and I'm gonna explain that on my next vid. Next are civil abilities. In the first episode, I've stated the reason why my main is gonna be a persuasive toon. In the prequel game, persuasion was somehow equivalent to charisma, a stat which is more broad in spectrum. And the way you settle arguments against NPCs or even within your own party was via rock, paper, scissors minigame. Yes, I'm not kidding. It was silly, but it was brilliant fun nonetheless. Here, that mechanic is gone. It was rigged anyway. Now on dialogues that need some sort of convincing, persuasion checks are made and results are instantaneous. On telekinesis, I could have just ignored this one because red is strength based, right? But somehow I think a party ain't complete without a telekinetic tune. Besides breaking the game with super effective unorthodox tactics, killing with containers. Like the utility of the escapist talent on Sibyl, this one will be very handy on setting up battlefields, either before or during an ongoing fight. To give you an idea, moving objects to create barricades, choke points, etc. Now we move on to talents. Nothing fancy here, it's the usual list for a mage, however with a variability of mnemonic. In early game I think this one is essential, but like my plan on wits and memory, this could likely change in the end. And all skilled up will be the one replacing it if so, since I'd be needing more ability points. As per tags, again these are fixed for origin tunes. So for mine I chose the ones which the party doesn't have, namely Barbarian and Soldier. Unfortunately, even here in the mirror, you can no longer change it after character creation. So pick wisely in the beginning. Finally on instruments, which I did not explain in the first episode. Simply imagine this as your character's ringtone, but in a deeper sense, whenever something significant happens to your tune, your theme music will play, and the lead instrument is the one you selected. By the way, let's show those stats at level 26 without gear, while I'm still on the topic of music. Most if not all vids that I produced and published use the music from YouTube's audio library. This game has no need for foreign music. The original soundtrack is just utterly freaking epic. And I play this game with all music volume at maximum. Though I need to be careful so I won't get copy striked. You know, like Buttes. But I did some verification with the music policies and they all checked out. Thus, the title of this song is Amber Ale, and most of the soundtrack was composed by Borislav Stavov. I hope I pronounced it correctly because he's a genius composer. And I've chosen this song as my tunes theme for this vid because it's so inspired by Celtic music, which is one of my many productivity playlists. And no, those mumbling craps are not in any of those lists. Speaking of inspirations, this build was inspired by the one in the wiki, and I just did some tweaks and a few personal additions. And whenever I mention wiki in this series, that will always refer to the Fextra Life wiki, with an amazing community of contributors, and the link is in the description. On a side note, this tune has low physical armor, thus a shield to compensate. As per the wand, its damage doesn't matter, and it's really all about its bonuses. The arena is a part of another quest line to escape for joy, namely the collar. After proving yourself here, Deborah the smith will offer to remove it. Thereafter, if a magister spots you not wearing one, you'll be sent to the holding cells, and from there you can escape for joy. I will finish this quest, but again, this is not the path I'll take to escape. though all other remaining methods also lead down to the holding cells. So technically, I'm just exhausting all possible quest lines for more EXP. This fight is quite difficult because you can't do any pre-battle setups, and instead a few enemies are already on key tactical positions, but you just have to make do with what you have.
You come to fight. You come to prove yourself. You come to be worthy. There can only be one, and you have but one chance.
She scoffs.
To prove you are the one. Never mind. The one does not ask such a question. Good. Who aids you? Choose wisely. Whether you fail or succeed, you do not fight more than once.
right where I want you.
That was easy.
Well fought.
My fight is strong. No way I'll be bested.
The one will arrive in time.
There, he's the one. Whatever that means. By the way, a quick note if you're taking this path. Before you get yourself deliberately imprisoned by the Magisters, transfer all your stuff to another tune, because they're all gonna be confiscated. And that is all there is for now. Thanks for watching. Also, check out other videos from Sabbath Clan Philippines and subscribe. See ya on my next vid. Peace out, y'all.